Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8. And even though we're meeting with two great people that Vin has longevity with, we'll just call this the New Jersey story time. Vin, why don't you go ahead and introduce the guys?
Yeah, so two good friends of mine, Robbie, I was going to call you Robbie Robinson, Robbie Lopez and Craig Richardson. When I think of my career, I think of these two guys in the sense of if it wasn't for them, there probably wouldn't be a Vinny Galanti. I think we've all sparked each other in some way. And Robbie and I talked just recently about him coming on, and we talked, and we got to get Craig on too. It wouldn't be right. So the three of us together tonight, just talking about what we've all experienced upcoming in New Jersey, the mindset, and where it's today and where our careers are at. And, you know, when we were off the air a moment ago, we all talked about having the Beast of the East trophy. And we're going to get into that a little bit and what it meant to us and what it meant to win titles and trophies and the difference there is today. So without further ado, welcome Robbie and Craig.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
So I remember Robbie and I first met, we were teenagers.
Ooh, a long time ago.
At Westside.
Yes. Right? Yeah, Westside Muscle. Yep. With
Shoebridge and all those guys and Shane and it was a wild crew. You know,
Jersey legends, as you call them.
Yeah, and then Craig later on at Bodyworks and everything. So, you know, it's been a journey for all three of us.
Awesome. I heard about that, Jim. I never got to train there. You know, I came in, like Vinny said, a little after that whole era. I got to kind of miss it. But, you know, I heard about it, and I heard, like, you know, everybody trained like hard there. Harley, a guy that we all at some point trained with, and he's still my training partner today, actually.
What's up, Harley?
Yeah. So I can remember him always telling me about Shoebridge. He was actually talking about him the other day and how good he was. And you know, how when he first walked in the gym, like he was like dumbbell pressing 100-pound dumbbells, which today doesn't seem like a lot. But, you know, back then, obviously.
You know, I live right around the corner from Shoebridge.
Yeah.
So directly around the corner from him, yeah.
Oh, man, we got to, like, hook him up with Harley so that way he can – he'll be happy to see him. But yeah, I heard, like, great things about that place. You know, unfortunately, I never got to train there because, you know,
you were probably, like, 13 years old when we were
exactly. Yeah.
No, because, Vin, that's when you and I were teenagers.
Yes.
Right? Because that's around the time when I won the team jersey and things, you know, and the nationals and stuff. And again, I was, 18, 19 years old? So, Craig, you were like, 12?
Awesome. Yeah. No, listen.
So that's why you didn't hear about it.
Yeah. Well, no, like once I started training, I heard about it. Like it was, you know, I mean, I guess it was over by then, but I just heard how, like, you know, how Saturdays and Sundays were just crazy there.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I heard it was a really good place.
I remember one time it was on it was a holiday, and I you know, there were certain splits of training that everyone followed, and it was like the normal thing was, you know, the bench first. So I thought I'm going to bench last today. And I asked this guy for a spot. I don't know, Robbie, if you remember this, but the guy, I don't know who he was, but he pulled the bar out of my hand and dropped it and crushed my sternum. And
wow. No,
yeah,
I never knew about that.
Blood was coming out of my nose, my ears, and I had to go to the hospital. Yeah. It was it was a mess.
No, I've never knew about that.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's rough.
You lucky that didn't take you out of the game.
I know. It broke my sternum. That was the first injury I ever had in the gym. Was at Westside.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Ugh.
Vin, you texted me yesterday saying you did some bonehead move or something you wanted to share on the podcast.
Oh, you're going to have to bring that up now?
So you said you discussed it.
So Robbie and I were a little further in our careers, and here comes this guy, Craig Richardson, and he's winning the team jersey. I believe the Junior USA you won.
Yes.
Craig? Yeah.
My weight class. Yeah.
Your weight class. Yeah. And you know, these guys will tell you I was pretty cocky and confident, more cocky than anything else. And I went up to Craig. I don't know if you remember this. And this was one of my humbling moments. Like after I did it, I felt like such an asshole. I said, "Hey, Craig, after the USA, I hope we can still be friends."
Yes.
I was referring to I was going to beat you, and then
Yes.
Craig, I think you won it or took second, and I ended up in 6th or 7th. That
Yes.
was my So I was like, I was eating humble pie after that, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck did I do?
Craig, that was in '97, right? The first USAs you did, you took second
the
to
first one.
to Jason.
Second to Jason. Yes.
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 That was
yes. Absolutely.
That was the first USAs I've ever been to.
Oh wow. Yes. Okay. Yes. And I can remember that. Like I can remember but you guys always kept me motivated, right? Like Vinny would come up to me and say something like that and be like, all right, you know what? Now every time I think about shit, I got to do cardio, you know, this 35 or 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever Maz had me do. It's like, you know what? Now I got to make sure I do it now. I don't feel like eating this piece of cardboard grilled chicken, but guess what? You know, I know Vinny's eating that chicken. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it motivated me as well to like make sure I move forward and never stopped. And, you know, so yeah, thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it.
All right, hold up. Craig, stop. You're lying. Craig used to live along with myself, I'll say, at McDonald's, at Popeyes, diet for 2 to 3 weeks, and then show up and beat everybody.
Oh, all right, here's what happened.
So stop that.
When I was getting ready for the lower shows, yes, I used to be able to crash diet for 3 or 4 weeks and do very well in the contest.
Yeah, beat all of us.
Made it to the to the juniors.
You're not bitter, Robbie, are you? You're not bitter at all, are you?
No. Craig's just the only guy during our era at Jersey light heavyweight that I didn't beat from Jersey. So no, I'm not bitter. Not at all.
No, wait, that makes 2 of us.
See, I've beaten Vinny in the past. And Vinny's beaten me more times than I've beaten him, but I've never beat Craig ever. And I stood on stage with Craig twice. Twice. At the Jersey, I won the middleweights. You won the light heavies, and then when the 3 of us did the nationals together, and you won the nationals.
Yes.
That was the only times I was on stage with you.
I can't find that picture. That was a great picture of us.
I sent that picture to you, Sean, I believe, of the 3 of us on stage.
Oh yeah, that's what I sent you, Vinny. Well, there was a younger one. There was 4 guys in the picture, Vin.
There was 3 of us on stage, one of the most muscular.
Oh, all right. I got to look at that again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you put that up, Sean? Can you pop that up on the screen?
Yeah, I can find it. Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, I mean, listen, we also trained in a gym that the 3 of us would all go to periodically. That just brought the best out of us. I mean, there were times when there were some crazy people that trained alongside of us, and it was an era that just can't be duplicated.
Crazy was an understatement. Well, we should tell them where the gym was. It's Bodyworks in Patterson. Now if anybody knows Patterson, New Jersey, just that alone is crazy. So, and the gym was basically around the corner from the county jail. Yeah. So you would get guys that, just got out an hour ago and would just show up and train, right next to all of us. And it was a motivating place. No question about it.
And you do not see that anywhere else anymore. No. Like, Rob, we talked about that. Like, you can go to Bodyworks on a Saturday or Sunday for Maz to take a look at you, and everybody would be there. Like, competitors from all over, because they wanted him to take a look, see what they look like for their upcoming contests. And, like the atmosphere, you just can't buy it. Like, you can't just.
Well, if you remember, and Vinny, obviously you're going to remember this too, what Maz would do, and I think I understand it now. Like you said, it was a Saturday, it was packed in there, it was all competitors. And, now all these gyms have posing rooms. There was no posing room. Maz would take you out in the middle of the gym while it's crowded. Go ahead, let's see what you look like. Now it's time to put up or shut up. Yep. So, there was times that I would go there and be like, damn, knowing that I slacked off on my diet, I'm like, oh man, here we go. And then you'd wait for that nod. Either you get the nod or you just get the serious face and you're like, oh damn, I screwed up now.
Yeah, the one eyebrow.
Yeah.
The one eyebrow goes up, and
when that one eyebrow goes up, that means you didn't handle your business.
Yeah.
I remember. So I would talk to guys. Oh, that's us.
Yeah, that's the 3 of us on stage. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of that.
I was actually thinking. I was thinking of another picture. That was correct.
Well,
when was that?
Muscular. I know what you're talking about, Rob.
Yeah, that one's hanging up in Bodyworks. Actually, you know what? I don't have that picture with the most.
I don't have that picture. That's pretty cool.
This one right here, that's on the screen.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I forgot that. I sent that to Sean.
I'll get it over to you, Vin.
Cool.
I like how I'm the only one flexing in the picture. Thank you.
So like, if you remember, I was telling guys, they were talking about coaches today and how they can't go without a couple of days talking to their coach. And I would say, when we go down to Body Works, here's what Maz would do. He'd take a piece of paper, Monday through Sunday across the top, lines, meals, 5 or 6 meals, and then he'd write in whatever day it was, a P and a C. So you knew it was protein and carbs.
Yep.
And then it would be like a full day would be P and C all the way down. And as you went on, you would lower your carbs. And basically there were no, okay, it's a 500 carb day, a 300 carb day. It was just, don't be a dumbass and eat a lot. Just eat a small potato, eat a cup of rice. And I think you talk about like the same kind of stuff. We all did the same thing. And we all came in rock hard, crazy conditioning because he made it so difficult, but so simple. And then you wouldn't see him for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? We go there and like, he'd be hanging out and talking like, hey, when the fuck are you going to look at me? I'm here for 2 hours already. And it would be so nonchalant and relaxed. And today guys could not handle what he did.
No,
right? Not to say it was wrong or bad. It was just, we grew up in a more like, I don't know the term to use.
Simplistic.
Well, there was no social media. Like, imagine somebody walking into Body Works back then with a tripod and setting it up to videotape their workouts. They would have had their tripods broken in half within seconds. Seconds.
Or just laugh
and clowned for probably they probably would have dropped out of the show and never come back there again. Because there has been people that have gone to Body Works and have never come back. Who were, who thought they were the shit back then, and they were not. They didn't have the mental brains to take it.
Robbie, you mentioned Harley earlier. Is it Harley Bright?
Harley Bright, yes, sir.
He's actually watching as we speak. He said, "Pleasure to listen to such legends." He's watching as we speak.
What's up, Harley?
What's up, Harley?
Oh, also, guys, Tommy Potenza said to say hello.
Oh, tell Tommy I said I haven't seen him in a long time. Long time. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, he was on the national level with us, and he won the jersey and Junior USA. He won, and I believe he took top 10 in the nationals one year.
Yeah, he was a great competitor as well. Yeah, he was really good. He was a middleweight, right?
Yes.
Yep.
What I remember. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, when I first came around, all I would hear, and I told Harley, like, it was strange because when I first came on the scene, I was a middleweight, and you would just hear Vinny. Like, Vinny was like the top guy, in New Jersey pretty much. And you would just hear Vinny, like, and I'm like, shit, I hope I can be as good as Vinny one day. And I saw him walk in. I was at a show. I saw him walk in. He had a blazer on, a pair of jeans, and, good looking guy comes walking through. And you can hear everybody whispering, there goes Vinny, there's Vinny. Like, and I'm like, yeah, like it was, I'm like, holy shit, that's him. Like, and I can remember seeing Tommy once, and they're like, yeah, the only guy that Tommy loses to is Vinny. Like,
Well, those were facts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. And I can remember seeing how big Tommy was, his back, his legs, his arms. And I'm like, what the hell am I getting myself into? Like, I'm looking at him, I'm going, shit, if he's losing to Vinny, like, looking like that, then what the hell? Like, I don't stand a chance. Like, man, but those were the good days, man. Wow.
Yeah, Tommy and I met at the 92 Jersey. And I thought, I'm going to put this, at the time, Phantom of the Opera was very,
I remember this.
Yeah. So I put this really great posing routine together to the Phantom of the Opera. Did a nice routine, a real pretty routine. And then Tommy comes out after me and he does Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
And at the very end, he does the Mamma Mia,
Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia. Yeah, I remember that.
And the place went absolutely bonkers. And no one talked about my routine. They all spoke about Tommy doing it. And I thought, hey, don't we get like a minute and a half? This guy posed for 7 minutes. Yeah. Great routine. And actually, I always thought I would love to do that routine. I would want to do something like that. And now if I get selected to do the Masters Olympia, I'm kind of trying to figure out how I could do that, because I found a girl. Her name is Angelina Jordan. She's like 14 years old, and she won I think America's Got Talent, or it's one of those shows, and she does a version. It's really, really pretty. How could I take that and blend it with the original and do the Mamma Mia?
What do you mean? How can you blend that? What do you?
Well,
okay,
you do it.
So people will know I do Vinny's music for his shows. I'm a DJ, so I've done music for various people in the industry. But Vinny, I put some good stuff together for him. Original stuff.
Yeah,
original
we did The Godfather.
The Godfather with like a kind of hip hop beat in the background.
Came out pretty good last.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it came out really great.
Harley. So Harley's chiming in saying he remembers that he was there and he said it was unforgettable. The Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
You know, Harley said it's the best routine he ever saw in his life. Seriously, he actually said that a few times.
I'll agree with that. It was pretty
about
good.
Tommy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so. I mean, I think thinking back, 2-3 years later, people were talking about it. That's how good it was, and it was just like a simple little thing of doing that Mamma Mia that just everybody went nuts with.
With the quad shake, also he did with it. Like he was shaking his quad as he did, like the Mamma Mia thing. I remember him like shaking one quad or something. But yeah, awesome.
But let me ask you a question. Let me get your take on the current status of bodybuilding with routines. What do you think? Because listen, remember when we were competing, the big thing we would make up routines weeks before and practice it over and over and over again. I'm seeing this day and age like there's no art to it anymore.
So
and Vinny, but you are literally probably one of the last who's a phenomenal poser and actually takes the time to put into that.
So I'll say this: if I'm criticizing and critiquing myself, critiquing. So unfortunately, well, for us, when we were on the local level and at the nationals, we got 90 seconds, and now the guys only get 60 seconds.
Yeah,
and that
a lot
30
of 60 seconds
that's missing is for us. We were used to kind of strutting out slow. We did our posing routines. It almost was like a story.
Yes, and Craig the same way. Craig's routines, every routine Craig did was phenomenal.
When you remove the 30 seconds from 90 seconds, now you have just 60 seconds. So you can't start your routine from the side. You have to start it on stage now.
Okay.
And there's no flair. There's no sometimes theatrical or sexy or something that's going to add.
There's no from what I'm seeing, there's no preparation. There's no love for it. Like the guys get on stage, they get in the middle, they do a couple poses, side, front, back, boom, done. That's it. Or they walk back side to side like they're guest posing. Like, bro, you're not guest posing. You haven't even won the show. Like, come on, serious.
Man, 60 seconds. I didn't know they did that. Wow.
Yeah. So like on the pro stage at the master shows, we only get like 60 seconds, and you're taking away the artful part of bodybuilding.
So wait a second. So even on the masters level, they're only giving you 60 seconds. You're going all the way out to Romania, and they're only giving you 60 seconds.
No, not at the Masters Olympia.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We don't know anything yet about the Masters Olympia. April 24th, we find out who's invited and all the particulars. We don't know anything. We don't know prize money. We don't know.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Because I heard Victor Martinez was talking about that the other day. He's like, because they were asking him if he was going to do it. And he's like, for what? He's like, what's the pay? He's like, I'm not paying my way to go out to go out there, which, I can understand on a certain level,
Yeah, he's been in the Olympia.
Yeah, he's almost, technically, I think he's won an Olympia, hands down, that year that he lost to Jay. So I know it's different for him,
Yeah, and it's different for me because I've never been able to get to that level.
Of course, shoot. If I got an invite in the shape I'm in right now, I'd do it just because I got the invite,
Yeah, so I think at the Masters Olympia, there's going to be a lot longer. There should be. There has to be.
I would hope so. I mean, you guys are professionals, and again, that's the top of that you can be for that level.
Going in kind of like the same direction. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong. And Craig, you got the tail end of it a little bit, but I think you're going to appreciate what I'm saying. When we competed, yeah, our end goal was we would love to be a professional one day. But when you go back even further, you're talking about like being laughed at Bodyworks if you had a tripod. So if you go back, if you were to brag about being a qualified athlete to go to the nationals, you'd be laughed at back in the day. We trained for, that show had the Beast of the East trophy, the East Coast or the Suburban back in the day. And if, you know, we took pride in all of that stuff. We took pride in winning titles. And today I find I could talk to somebody and they'll say, I'm doing Pittsburgh. I'm like, well, which show? Well, Pittsburgh. I'm like, okay, what month? So I got to break it down. Are you doing the Masters Nationals? What are you doing? Or the Pittsburgh Pro? What are you doing? Because they're 2 different months. And they don't understand the names of the shows. They're absolutely not even connected to it. And half of the people don't even care about how they turn pro. There's no love for it.
Well, because they can get a pro card. That's the local 7-Eleven. That's why. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, things have changed.
Things have changed big time.
Like I posted today on Instagram, and I've said this before in another podcast. Winning, so we all came up going into the USA or the Nationals, and then at 41, I said, let me try this one more time. I'm going to do the Masters Nationals as a warm up, and the Nationals at the end of the year, and I end up winning the overall, and I earned my pro card. Awesome. And it set me off into a depression winning my pro card at that show because it wasn't the Nationals or USA. And in my head, I was like, my friends and the guys I compete with aren't going to take me serious. I didn't win my pro card at the Nationals. That messed me up for a while. Today, I don't have the mindset's not like that. They can go in Mr. Backyard and get a pro card and they'll go there.
Well, yeah. Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong, you get a pro card at the Junior USA, placing second or something.
Yep.
Something to that nature.
Wow.
Like, you know, back when, you know, Craig, when he won his pro card, there was only like, you'd have to win the overall at the USAs, or you'd have to win your weight class at the Nationals, or the overall at the North America. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
And you have to remember, back then, the weight classes were stacked.
Like,
the top 15 there crushed everyone everywhere else. Like, you know, it just, like, you know, between like 1st and 5th, we're so close sometimes.
Yeah, it could have gone to either any person in the top 5, any person.
Yeah. Wow.
Shoot. Talk about stacked weight classes. I'm going back to when I was a teenager, and I won the teenage. When I won the teenage overall at the Jersey, that was 87. Okay, I just put my age out there. But there was 25 guys in the middleweight class.
You're talking teenagers now.
And now we're talking teenagers.
Yeah.
So imagine now, I don't even think they have teenage categories anymore. You know,
well, they have it in the teen nationals, but now they won't allow anybody under 18 to compete anymore. So it's only 18 and 19. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something happened. I don't know the whole story. So.
Wow. I didn't even know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So guys, Tom Potenza is actually watching this too. He's saying, "What's up, guys?"
Hey, what's up, Tommy? All right, so let's go back to this Beast of the East. Explain to people what the Beast of the East trophy is. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. Yes, show them, Vinny. Show them.
Yeah.
So Craig, Harley's actually saying I busted Craig's balls all the time as he was not Mr. USA as opposed to Vinny, who was.
Yes. Yeah, all the time. All the time.
God,
so this is the Beast of the East.
This is the Beast of the East trophy. Back then, we competed. I competed in the East Coast. I won the overall at the East Coast just to get that trophy. Just to get that trophy. Luckily, I ended up winning the overall. But then I broke it in a move. So I do not have that trophy anymore. But how many do you have, Craig?
3.
3. Okay, so you're going to let me get
one. Brother Rob, send one over.
You're going to let me get one? I have my plaque still. I just don't have the trophy. So just for our friendship, for as long as we've known each other, let me get one.
I have one.
2 of them got destroyed, and 1 is at my mother's.
Man.
Not let that thing go. Yeah.
I've even reached out to Dwayne, the owner of Diamond Gym.
Yeah.
He made it again.
Yeah, no, I know, because I just saw this. Wasn't this past year's jersey he handed it out?
He brought it
asking where I can buy one so I can have my trophy back again, because I want to put my plaque on it.
Well, also too, the If you remember, I have it over here, the bust of the jersey. That was big too.
Yeah, I still have that.
Yeah.
I still have that. There was a lot of trophies that I threw out because I don't know, through moving and stuff, they get cracked. A lot of the statues, you know, like the one I have behind me, like those statues.
Yeah, where did you get your Beast of the East, Vinny?
I won the middleweight and overall at the Suburban.
I was gonna say it was the Suburban. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in that show, Chuck Noah Dilly was in it.
Yes.
Oh,
wow. The other guy from Diamond, I can't remember his name. Damn. Daryl. Not Daryl, who's a fireman.
Daryl James? No.
Not Daryl James, no. I can't remember his name. He's still training there. I think he went through some personal issues back in the day, and it sidelined him from competing. But he had an amazing physique. He's a really good guy. I can't remember his name, but it was Daryl. He was in it, and I'm backstage. I'm like, oh my God, where do these guys come from? And they're like, Diamond Gym.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? No, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I think the first time I walked into Diamond Gym was shortly before that. And, you know, as you know, it looks exactly the same as it did back in the late 80s. Probably.
I remember being at Diamond Gym. I was 18 years old. I was working at, there was a Macy's in Newark. So a couple of guys that were at Ricky Perez. Remember that name?
Ricky Perez.
So he worked with me.
Great poser also.
Yes. So they take me over because I was already in Newark. They're like, oh, just go to Diamond Gym. I walk in and Johnny Morant was there. Linda Murray was on a stepper, and I'm like, who the hell is that? I was just like, wow, like in total amazement. Who was it? Jason Ards, Bo Matlock, all those guys were all training there at that time. It was insane.
Yeah,
Craig, you used to train there from time to time, right?
Yes, I used to go there. You know, it depended on what time of the day you went. Like if you wanted to like go and jump in with Bo a little bit, you go like at morning. He'd be there and he'd let you train with him. And Bo was really, really strong. Like,
oh yeah,
the guys don't realize. Like back then, we actually trained. Like and Bo trained really hard and he was strong. I remember him doing like rear bent over laterals, like for your rear delts with 120-pound dumbbells. I remember him like side lateraling like 75s. Like he is completely insane.
He was a big boy.
They rig, like they would take a machine and like rig weights on it to make it heavier so that like they can train on it. Like it was the weird that place was insane. Do
you remember Nick Lavatola?
Yes.
I got there after. I heard about him.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember him.
Physique. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And going back a second with Harley. So Harley was my training partner first.
Yes, I know.
We trained together. And So
yeah, I stole him, but go ahead.
You stole him. But I remember Harley played, I think, an intricate role in a way that brought a lot of great out of us to train harder.
100%.
He knew how to be that guy that was going to get under your fucking skin, knowing you're going to train harder, and no one took it personal. I remember one day walking into Body Works, and it had to be, I don't know, in 90 somewhere, and Harley screaming at me, "This is our house. Get the fuck out. You can't fucking train." You're screaming. I'm like, who's he talking to? And just yelling like, "This is our house." And I think it was leg day, and we remember was it Mario?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mario would talk shit, and he would talk crap, and everybody would just talk shit to everybody. Can you imagine that happening today? No.
Oh yeah, no. Well, listen, Harley and I have been thrown out of more places than actually. Like seriously, like every time you turn around, we're getting thrown out. Or sometimes he'd warn me and go, "Hey, Craig, we may get thrown out today." And I go, "What? Like what? Now?" Like,
Oh yeah. I remember when did you lose at the Nationals and he was in the audience screaming?
That was in Florida.
Yeah, they in Florida, right?
Yes, they almost arrested him.
Yes.
Yes, that was when you placed second to what's his name that beat me at the USA's one this year? Ronnie St. Cloud.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
God, Rodney.
I remember that.
Almost arrested Harley. He gave my wife his credit card and said, "Hey, if this is just come get me. You know, you can use this and come get me out." But like, yeah, security came. They were talking about the police. The police came.
I was standing right there when all that was happening. I remember that.
Oh,
Was he pissed off at you losing when you were robbed, or was he just kind of pissed off?
Well,
he had a lot of passion because it was his training partner.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, it was really all about love. And it's hard to explain, but he genuinely cared for all of us, and mostly Craig, because he was their training partners.
If Harley's riding with you,
he rides.
Have a guy that's going to ride with you, no matter what. Like if we're going to jail that night, Harley's going to jail. Like like if something happens, I don't care what it is. If there's 10
or he'll make sure you get out quickly.
Yes, if there's 10 guys at a bar, like Harley's going to make sure from spotting you at a gym to whatever. Like he's got your back 100%.
Yeah.
He and I actually still trained together today. Like we, every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're at the gym training. Obviously, we don't train as hard. We don't get threatened to be kicked out anymore. But
wait, as of when?
Yes,
as of 2 years ago.
Yes.
Last week.
Bob. Yes, I remember.
That's an inside story. All right, we're not going to talk about that one. We're not going to talk about why.
But yeah, like but I can remember, like, and again, I can understand, right? Like we would load the leg press up and we would put as much as we could put on it. We sit people on top of it. When you're done with that and you're trying to go over to hack squat, like we'll take a few plates off, but it's like, all right, we'll take a few plates off. We'll do a set. We'll come back and take another, couple of plates off, because it takes time to unload all this stuff. So there's always, an employee that'll come over and go, "Hey, you guys can't leave that." And then once they say that, that's it. Like Harley.
Game on.
Yeah, it's just, you know what, and I got to hold them back. Or if we're dropping the weights or something like that, like, you got a 150-pound dumbbell, you can't let the thing down easy if you're going, because it's complete failure. And then we'll drop it, and someone will come out and they'll say, "Hey guys, you can't drop that," or "Could you put that down a little easier?" And the next thing you know, like there's Harley. It's on. Like
yeah.
So Craig, Harley's saying here, I yelled at the judges to turn their backs and they wouldn't face me.
Yes, he called them.
That's true. That's true. He was calling them out.
Yes,
that is a fact. That is definitely a fact.
Sounds like he might be a future podcast, Vin. You might want to bring him on with Craig, make another story time in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was an exciting era that we competed in, and we competed with.
It was fun because number one, we traveled together, we worked out together in the gym. And again, all three of us were competing literally against each other when we were at the USA national level, and it was never any animosity.
No,
never.
We'd go, we train, whatever we place, we go back in the gym, we continue, whatever.
It was like we had our own little Venice Beach kind of clique.
Yeah, on the East Coast. Absolutely. Absolutely.
For that gym at Bodyworks.
Yeah.
So I have a question for all three of you guys, going back now years, because you guys obviously compete in some of the same shows. Did any of you guys try to sabotage each other, like ask for advice, but pull an Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, dude, I'm doing 500 grams of carbs a day. Something. No.
I could honestly say I don't know if you guys ever did that to me, but I've never did it to you.
I was honestly one year, Harley will tell you this, I was going to send you guys pizza. Right?
Now, well, I'm glad you did it because I would eat it.
No, and Harley said that. He goes, "No, Craig, because Rob may eat it."
Dude, man.
Wait, Harley stopped you from doing it? I thought Harley would be like, "Yeah, do it."
No, Harley said no.
Because he knows me. He knows I would have definitely eaten it.
Rob would probably eat it. It was 1 year at the Nationals. I was going to send it. And Harley, no. He goes, "Craig, because if you do it," he goes, "Rob will eat it." And I go, "All right." Okay.
And I still wouldn't look good on stage.
Yes.
It's sodium load. Have you looking good. No,
that's just called a typical day for me.
The funny thing is, and I know Rob busts my chops and says, "Oh, he used to cheat a lot."
No, I know. It wasn't that you cheated. That's how you ate.
But no, I can remember, I would go 12 weeks. Now, I'd be ready 8 weeks out.
Exactly. That's a fact. That's a fact.
But I would, and Maz would have to, go have a burger, go do this, and I'd fight him, like, no, I don't want to do it, don't want to do it, don't want to do it. And then it will come to a point where he'll give me alternatives, and then it'll come to a point where he just goes, no, you have to do it, like,
Yeah.
and you have to go eat something, like, and that's what I would do. But yeah, even it seems like dieting is much different back then. Like Vinny was saying, like, it was just don't screw it up. Like, you're gonna eat chicken, grilled chicken, steak, tuna out the can, brown rice, baked potatoes, plain oatmeal, and that was.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't large amounts. It was rotated in a certain way.
It's just carb rotating. It was like carb rotating,
Right, but
there was no magic formula to it.
No magic formula. And then we didn't see Maz for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we would see him, but
he wouldn't look at us.
Yeah, it wasn't. But we weren't stressed out. I gotta have him look at me tomorrow. I have to. We gotta look at. Well, it wasn't like that. It was just like, all right, just don't be a dumbass and don't cheat on the diet. I remember one time, I thought I could get away with eating a bagel on Sundays, and I was eating bagels, and the guy, I never told him I was eating a bagel, and he goes, "You eat bagels on the weekends." I'm like, what? He goes, "I can see the bagel hanging off of your waist."
Yeah. No, I can remember one time, I think you may have had something you weren't supposed to have, and everyone thought you looked amazing. Like, you came in, you posed, and everyone, and he goes, something's not right. Like, what do you mean something's not right? The guy looks awesome. He goes, he's been on 0 carbs for the last like 3 days or something like that. He goes, there's no way Vinny looks that good with 3 or 4 days of me zeroing him out. He had something. And I think you guys talked about it, and he came back and goes, I knew it. I knew he had something. And I'm like,
I remember this.
Yeah.
I totally remember it. Yeah. We went into the area where he had his little office, and that thing's he had like a shed or something.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like a shed, but it wasn't. And he took me in there. He shut that thing down. And I remember he was like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're going into the Nationals. What the fuck?" And he was cursing at me. I'm like, all right, I cheated on my diet. He goes, all right, that's all you have to say. Don't tell me you're on 0 carbs. I'm like, all right, I've been eating. What'd you eat? You don't want to know.
So Vinny, Harley's had another story here. He says, if you bring me on, I tell the story of Vinny puking on leg day at Sonny's gym when I brought the garbage can into the middle of the gym and grabbed the mic and announced it to everybody.
He did that.
Sounds like a great guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were,
a
buddy of mine. What, Craig?
I always try to hold it every time when I train with him, because you never live it down, man. Like, it's. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
We went to Jersey City. A buddy of mine owned the gym. This guy, Sonny Laredo. We went there. We trained, and I honestly don't remember the workout. It was that bad, and I just remember hugging the can and throwing up.
I can honestly say that's never happened to me ever.
No, you never threw up from leg day?
I've never from a workout period. Never.
Every single leg workout where it was going to come up, I just had to sometimes lay down in between sets, and it will kind of go away. I just couldn't do it, because if I did, Harley would just never let me forget it. We were training at Goals in Riverdale.
Yep.
And I can remember the bathroom was so far away from the leg press. I'm like, man, I'm feeling really nauseous, and I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. So he takes the can, obviously, he brings it over to the leg press, and he goes, here, just use this, right? And I'm like, all right. I'm doing my set, and every set, I feel like I have to do it, but I just lay down, and it goes away. So the owner comes over, and he goes, hey, you guys can't do this. And Harley's like, what? He goes, you can't have the garbage can in the middle of the floor. Harley goes, okay, it's either this or puke on the floor. You choose. I think that was the last day that we were there, because they no longer wanted us anymore.
Wait, who owned that? That was, what's his name?
Chris Katina.
This is before Chris.
Yeah.
This is before Chris.
That was the owner before Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris would have let us do it. He would have.
Yeah, of course, Chris was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he would have
understood.
This other guy, he just would not. Yeah, it was, one of the many places we got kicked out of. But
that's great.
Yeah.
I remember one time, I think it was Robbie and I think Robbie, you and I were in the same room. You weren't there at the moment, but I kept getting a phone call from a guy. He wanted me to come to his room and pose. And I was getting aggravated, and I'm like, stop, please stop calling me. About an hour later, get a call from the front desk. There's a package for you here. So, okay. So I go downstairs, and this guy jumps out, and he's like, please pose for me. Please pose for me.
Wait,
like,
what gym was this at?
Wait a minute.
No, this was at a hotel. We were at the hotel for the Nationals. And then I see Maz walking towards me, and I go, Maz, this guy wants me to pose for him. And Maz is like, how much are you going to give him? So the guy goes, I don't know. And Maz goes, 300 for me, 200 for him. We'll go pose for you. I said, I'm out of here. I walked away.
He's trying to pimp you out, huh?
Yeah. It was great.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Funny stuff.
Craig, do you remember how you and I met?
Yes. Foot Locker, right?
Yeah. I was working in Foot Locker in Patterson. I was a manager at the store, and I used to see Craig walk by every day. I knew nothing about Bodyworks at the time. And at the time I was before I hit the national level, I had won the T Nationals and all that stuff, but I stopped competing. And I used to see Craig. I'm like, who the hell is this bodybuilder? Right? Walking by every day. So finally he came in the store, and we started talking. He's like, yeah, I got to bring you over to this gym down the street, Bodyworks. That's how I met Maz. And then like a couple months later, I was like, you know what? I got to compete again. And if it wasn't for Craig, I probably would have never, ever hit the national stage or any of them shows.
So what was your first show coming back?
My first show coming back, was the 96 Jersey, where I won the middleweights. Craig won the light heavies, and Matt Duval won the heavyweights. Wow. And Craig, you won the overall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what was your last show before that?
Oh, before that? God. Yeah. 93 Nationals, where I placed dead last.
Oh, really?
Dead last, yeah. After that, I was like, screw this ain't for me, because I placed dead last.
What year did you do the Teen Nationals?
I did the Teen Nationals in '87. I won the overall. I mean, not the overall. I'm sorry. I did the Teen Jersey, which qualified me for the Teen National. That's where I met Chris Cormier. I was on stage with him. So that was '87. Then I did the East Coast the year later. Won the overall at that. That's where I won the Beast of the East. And then that's when I said, let me do the Nationals. And I got spanked. And I was like, oh, this ain't for me. And I stopped until I met you.
That same year in '87, I did the Team USA.
Yeah, that's right.
I took second in the lightweight class.
Yeah. That '87 National was me. It was me, Gerard Dente, and Chris Cormier on the for the overall on stage.
Gerard won, right? Like
Gerard won the overall. Yeah, Chris won the light heavies. I won the middleweights. Gerard won the heavyweights.
Cool.
And again, I went out there. It was in Washington State. Didn't know anybody. Nobody. Just went out there, competed. I was like, John Kemper had talked me into doing the show. I'm like, all right, let me give this a shot. Ended up winning. And I was like, wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was. Again, if it wasn't for Kemper literally wrote me a letter, sent it to my house, and saying that I should compete at the show.
Wow.
So I still have that letter somewhere in all my pages.
John was a good guy.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah. Harley and I were just talking about, like, even doing the jersey years ago. You couldn't, like, now you just jump up and you just say, I'm going to do the jersey. Like, back then you had to, like, it was almost like an invite.
Yes.
Couldn't just say, hey, I'm doing a jersey. Like, you had to either win something, or someone had to, like, someone like Maz had to kind of bring you to John and go, hey, John. I can remember him bringing me to John, go, hey, John, Craig's going to do, the jersey. And John goes, oh, okay, yeah, great. Like, and then you went to weigh in Friday night.
Yeah.
At Diamond Gym. And even that, everyone was there. Like, it was
scary.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, because back then, like, to get on a national stage, there's none of that. Oh, I placed third at a local show. Now I'm going to do a national show. You wouldn't even think about that. No. You would have to either win your class. This was our mentality. You either had to win your class, or you had to win the overall. Then you could think about doing a junior national show.
First.
Yeah.
Junior USA. You wouldn't even think about going to a nationals. If you didn't place at the Junior USA or Junior Nationals, you wouldn't even think about going to USA's or any of that. Now these days, these guys, they place second, third, fourth, fifth at their show. All right, I'm going for my pro card. Bro, you didn't even win your class.
Yeah.
How do you go from placing third at a regional, at a local show to talking about I'm going to win my pro card next year?
They get a lot of guys like that where I work at Powerhouse. They're really nice people, but and they'll talk about, yeah, I'm going to do the universe this year, and they're not ready for it.
It's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the time. It's just because of social media. It's that instant gratification. Oh, just because you got 1,000 likes on a picture doesn't mean you're ready for a national show. You know, that means you just got a lot of people staring at your picture. Period. That's all it means. You know.
Yeah.
Do you guys think they give out the pro cards more often now because there's less longevity with a lot of the athletes?
No.
Wait.
No.
No.
I'm going to keep my opinion as to why they give out so many pro cards.
But there's I think, in my opinion, there's so many athletes now that you just can't have these guys hanging around as amateurs forever. They'll lose interest and probably quit.
Let's be real. It's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
It's a moneymaker. That's why so many pro cards are given out. Because the more people that they can entice to turn pro, the more people, like I said, that are not ready for that, they're gonna get, they're gonna go and do these shows. Look at the Team U and all these other shows. There's like 500 competitors now or more.
I get the sport, it's a business.
Of course, it's a business. I'm not knocking that.
And I get it evolves and has to make money. And I get that. But the competitors lost how I want to say this. They lost the reality of amateur, pro. And now amateur is a pro now.
Vin, think of this. How many guys are at, let's just say, I'm going to say the Powerhouse Gym. You could be standing next to a guy that's a pro. You wouldn't even know he's a pro, or even he doesn't even look like a pro.
Not even close.
No, not even close. There's a lot of pro cards there's a lot of people that have pro cards that should not have pro cards.
Well, unfortunately, and I tell people this, and they think I'm a hater, and I try to say it in the most delicate way. Okay, you get your pro card, then what are you going to do? Because your career is over. It's done. You're not going to even crack the top 10 in a pro show. Why don't you do like a Jose Raymond, which was a different era? Don't take your pro card.
Yeah.
And develop and refine your physique, get bigger, create an amazing package as an amateur, win some titles, and you're not wasting your time.
You know what?
They don't want to hear that.
I think because a lot of these people that are shooting for their pro cards now, it's not for the love of the sport, it's for the gram. So they could put on their status IFBB pro. Well, unfortunately, that really doesn't do much these days in regular lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. It's no big deal. Yeah. It's just because it's saturated.
Yeah.
There's a Dale Flores. I don't know if that name rings a bell. He's bringing up. You guys aren't going to mention Tom Jimenez or Jimenez?
Tom Jimenez, of course.
6 weeks and never do cardio and look insane.
Yes, I remember Tommy Jimenez very well. I think we've all competed against him too at one time or another.
Oh, no, here's what's funny, right? Like, and again, these are things that would always keep me going, right? In '94, I did the jersey for the second time. I did the teenage jersey, and I won that, and I took third in the men's middleweight. Tommy won.
Jimenez,
yes,
I remember.
And I can remember, like, I was 19 years old. I was actually warming up for the teen nationals. So I can remember, like, he would never let me live it down. Like, he wouldn't say it to me, but like I'd go, right? Like, somebody would mention, I saw Craig compete last week, or like, oh yeah, I beat Craig already, like, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm like, I gotta avenge this. I gotta avenge this beat. And like, at some point, I have to avenge this loss, and I did, thank God. But Tommy was big. If Tommy had just actually died,
he had big arms. I remember he had them huge arms. If
the guy had just died, he had all the tools.
Yeah.
He's a pro. He's a pro now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. But he would have been a pro much sooner.
Has he ever done a pro show?
I don't think so. Don't quote me on that, but I'm not. I don't think so.
I think he may have done one, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Dale, you would know. Dale's his guy, so like Dale would be able to know if he'll tell us if he did it or not. But I think he may have done one.
Yeah, I'm not.
I see Dale all the time.
Really?
So,
I haven't seen him in years.
So,
What's up, Dale? Years I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I speak to him every day. Very knowledgeable guy. Like,
my God, yeah. So when I did my first 2 shows coming back, it was the end of 18, and Dale. I run into Dale, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I told him what I was doing, and he's like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "Seriously?" So we sat down, set up a plan, and I've been pretty much listening to Dale a lot for the last 4 years.
Oh, no.
He's really smart. Because it was funny because back in the day when we trained at Strong and Shapely, Dale and I didn't like each other. So Dale had, the mindset of training like a Dorian Yates type of workout.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And I was like, yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, he would try to get me to train that way too, and I'm like, you're out of your mind.
Right. So, but now fast forward 25 years later, I'm actually training that way and doing like 1 set to failure with like 5 reps, getting like warmed up and then go to a failure. And I think it's part of the little success I've been having lately because of Dale's knowledge and training.
Yeah, no, he showed me pictures when you and he when you guys linked up. He showed me some pictures of. He goes, "Hey, you're not gonna believe how great Vinny looks." I saw the pictures and like, holy shit! Like you look exactly like you did 20 years ago. I'm like, man, like, all right, Dale, you got to show me what to do now because.
I just had an open mind to change, and I realized maybe my mindset. I was thinking small, and I just wasn't thinking outside the box, and maybe I had to grow up and not be so immature about my thinking. Basically, that's what it boiled down to. Because I was so married to one idea, and didn't think anything else worked.
Yes, and here's the thing, and I always tell Rob this. Genetically, you guys were like gods. Like you had every tool. Genetically, I think your genetics by far were much, much better than mine. Just luckily for me, you guys would occasionally cheat on your diets, where I wouldn't. So I always just felt like, I would say, hey, listen, I'm not going to be the biggest guy on stage. Obviously I'm not the strongest guy around, but no one's going to outwork me. I'm going to diet as hard as I can. If I have to do 2 hours of cardio a day, 3 hours of cardio a day, I'm going to do it. If I have to go without carbs, sometimes I'd go without carbs literally for almost 4 weeks. Zero carbs, zero fats, just, protein and veggies.
Yep.
And, I can remember sometimes Maz would even have me go into a contest on zero carbs because, and I'd be like, Maz, I've been on zero carbs literally for 4. And he'd go, you're perfect the way you are. I'm afraid if I put carbs in you, you'll spill.
Yeah.
And
he did that with me one time also.
Yeah, just going in just like that. And it's just like, but I always said, like, thank God, because, with your structures, the two of you, the way your body is structured, like, I honestly I still wonder, like, how the hell did I beat you guys all this time? I'm like, you guys should have been pros years ago, to be honest with you, because your genetics were so good.
Yeah, but with saying that, I'll be the first to admit, looking back, I probably didn't give it 100% back then. So what you saw was a product of my genetics and 80% of work. I mean, did I diet hard? Yeah, I trained hard, all that stuff. But I didn't realize what I had. I had no idea.
I trained hard and I dieted perfectly. It just wasn't. I'm kidding.
Well, hold on a second.
I'm kidding.
Rob, right? I can remember this, right? Rob, this is Rob's logic.
So let's hear this.
Miss a meal or two, right? Somehow, I don't know how he would miss a meal or two.
Very easy. I wasn't hungry.
And then he'd go, hey, you know what? So I had 2 burgers just to make up for those 2 meals.
Facts.
I'm like, Rob, but you're doing it every day. Like, he's like, yeah, I miss a meal every day, so I got to make up for the calories.
Make up for it.
And
That's a fact.
he still placed the top 5 in like at the USA or nationals, or and like, oh, geez, I could never do that ever. You know, me being off. And here's what's funny: like the one year, it may have been 90. Well, I'm trying to think, Vinny. Was it 98? The year I think I took 5th, and you may have taken 6th at the nationals.
98. Yeah, that was the only time I took 6th. Yeah,
and I can remember, and I got into a car accident. Like a bunch of things happened that year. I got into a car accident, so I couldn't lunge. I couldn't do hypers. Cardio was hard, but I managed to do it, but it was just really hard to do. And then I had my wisdom tooth pulled during the prep as well. And the inside of my jaw had gotten so swollen, it overlapped over my teeth. So I had to literally, it would take me like an hour to eat like a 8-ounce piece of chicken, where I had to break it and like throw it in the back of my throat and try to drink water because I couldn't bite down because my jaw was like over my teeth. And I can remember all this happening, during the prep. I remember like even like Don Long would just say, "Hey man, you got to just try to drink shakes and do things like that because it's hard to eat." And my jaw was like that maybe for like over a week. So you lose 2 weeks or so. And I still took 5th, but I can remember saying to myself, like, man, like I wasn't 100% and I took 5th. I was lucky to get that. Genetically, I was able to stay in the mix, but I just couldn't imagine like getting ready for these contests and not giving it 100%. Not, I look back later and go, man, like, I kind of screwed this up. I would beat myself up. I beat myself up for an entire year. From 98 to 99, and Harley started training with me after that show. He had just finished training with you. You guys had just finished training. He started training with me, or I started training with him rather. And, we started getting ready for the 99 nationals. And then that's when, like, that year it was all cylinders, 100% eating, 100% training, 100% cardio. And, I ended up still taking second to Rodney, which I never got to binge that because he got really big afterwards. Remember that, guys? Like, he got, like, really, really big afterwards. But I never binge that. But then 2000, was the best condition I'd ever been in my life. Jason Arntz that year did my diet. And, another guy, very knowledgeable. Yep. But it was always, again, remember, like, we didn't have all this communication. It was hard to get in touch with Jason. Like, that was.
Yeah, I remember going down to see him at the gym he was working at a couple of times. Like, he helped me here and there too. Jason's a good guy. I like Jason.
Awesome guy. Yeah. Awesome.
So Craig, you last competed in 18, right?
Yes.
And you had 2 good places. I pulled your record here. Did you just finally retire because of injury, or just decide to hang it up? Or
it was what happened was I wasn't with MHP anymore.
Okay.
And now it's starting to, I work full time. Like, this whole time I've been working full time. I work at a high school, Passaic County Tech in Wayne. I'm an attendance officer.
Okay.
I have my job with my pension and benefits and everything else. This was just a hobby for me. Like, I just happened to be pretty decent at my hobby.
Yeah.
So, it got to a point where, okay, I'm not with MHP anymore. Now I'm just dumping money out and, you're not getting much money back, especially when I started competing in 212. Now the prize money lowered a little bit. So it was like, and me getting older, it took longer to get in shape. There was no more, me getting ready in 6 weeks and then, dieting a full 12. I had to literally diet 25 weeks to get ready for one show.
Wow. Okay.
So where at one time before I would be able to knock out 3 shows in that time, 4 shows.
So what you're saying, doing more work discouraged you?
Yeah. Well, it was like, it's not worth it. Where it's like, hey, I'm doing, I'm dieting for 5 months, to do one show. Sometimes I might do 2 shows or something like that, but it was like, it started to become like not worth it. So I made up my mind and I go, hey, no matter what happens with these 2 shows I'm going to do, I won't do the Olympia. Like, my family and I, we had planned on family vacation, because a lot of people don't realize when you're getting ready for the Olympia, when it's September, you have to start dieting in like June, you know, ready for it. So your whole summer, and like I said, I work for a high school, so I'm off the entire summer with pay. So my family and I go on vacations. We do things. So for years, I wasn't able to do those things. And everybody will say, "Hey, listen, you can go on vacation." I had one friend. He's a cop in total, and he go, "Hey, go on vacation, man. You can go down the shore. They have a kitchen. They have a gym down there." And I go, "No, it sounds good." I go, "When are you going on vacation?" He tells me his time. I go, "All right, wear your police uniform with your full gear. Take your squad car. Patrol the area while you're on vacation, while your family's doing." He goes, "No, I couldn't do that." I go, "Exactly. I don't want to go to work while I'm on vacation." And he goes, "That's a good point." And I go, "That's it." Like 1 year, I actually went to Orlando to take my family to Disney while I was getting ready for one of the Olympias. It was the worst vacation I ever had in my life. I enjoyed the theme parks, but when you can't eat anything, when I'm lugging food all day and I'm trying to sneak it in because they don't want you to bring your food in, and I'm putting like 8-ounce chicken breast in like this pocket in a Ziploc bag, and then I put another 8 ounces in the other pocket, and baked potato here, and my wife's holding something else, and then you're eating the food cold. Vinny, these guys will tell you, especially when you eat tilapia.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, like these guys nowadays don't know. They don't know the struggles.
But Craig, you ended the year on a good note, man. You had 2 shows, first and second place. It's a good way to step away, brother.
Yes, and that was it. Like, I'll walk away a winner. And I really miss it. Like, even when people started talking about like this Masters Olympia, I'm like, oh man, I give it one more shot. And like, you know what? I'm so far done with it. I'm like, I like going to the gym now, casually training. I still eat, 5-6 times a day. I still eat very clean. I still do 30 minutes of cardio every day. I just don't have to, puke when I get off the leg press anymore. And I'm not, I haven't squatted 2 years.
How tall are you, Craig?
5'7".
5'7". Okay.
Yes.
Rick Jones is chiming in saying it's Rick Jones from Bodyworks. Love the podcast.
Wow.
Rick.
Wow. What's up, Rick?
Wow.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yes. No, it's funny, right? When I first met Rob, and Rob's asking me like who else is competing in the gym, and I mentioned Rick, right? And he goes, and I go like, "Rick is huge," and he goes, "I know Rick Jones, but he wasn't that big when I knew him."
He was skinny.
So we go to the gym, and I show him a picture. I'm like, "Yeah, that's Rick. Is that the same Rick you know?" And he looked up and he goes, "Holy crap!" He goes, "Yes, that is the same Rick, but that's not the Rick."
Yeah, he didn't look the same. Not even close. He looked great.
Yeah, he really
Rick was a great guy.
Hey, Vin, let me ask you a question. I'm sure because you haven't really touched on this because I've watched your other podcast. What still inspires you to still do this at this age? Because you're like a Dexter that's been doing it, but again, a very, 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 very long time and still at it. So what drives you to still compete?
So when I stepped off stage in 2013 at the New York Pro, that was probably my worst ever. Okay. And I turned pro at 41 after 16 years of trying. And in 2009, I did the New York Pro for the first time, and I took 7th. I looked at it as that was a big failure, taking 7th, but I didn't look at it at the time. I think 3 or 4 of the guys ahead of me were in the top 5 of the Olympia the year before, right? So I didn't look at that. I took 7th. So I tried harder the next year. I placed, I think, 8th. I looked good, but I placed 8th. Same mindset. And going back with winning the Masters Nationals, not the Nationals. And my career was like just a couple of years. Retired, started my business. Then I had my rotator cuff surgeries. And I just said one day, like, I want to do this one more time. I want to do the New York Pro one more time. And I've talked to you about it. And I thought, well, let me do the Masters Pittsburgh Pro first. Let me get my conditioning back and let me figure this out, because I did the 17 and 18 Masters Baltimore Pro, and it was a mess. I took dead last in both shows, but I figured it out, and I was like, well, I'm getting worse than I did when I retired. So I got to figure this out. So I won that, and now we're looking at 8 Masters Pro wins and a possible invite to the Olympia. I never thought this was going to happen. I didn't think.
So if you get that invite to the Olympia,
yeah,
and you compete, what are you going to do after that?
You're going to Disney World.
Going to Disney World.
There you go. That's the answer. No, seriously. I mean, are you gonna? Because to me, me personally, that would be the icing on the cake for me. I'd be like,
I think this is my swan song.
Yeah, that's my question. That's my question.
So I mean, let's be realistic. I love training. I'm motivated to go to the gym. I'm motivated to get there and do a hard workout. The warm up and the warm up before the warm up is longer than the actual workout. So, I'm in some pain. Just being 55. I'm going to be 56 in April. I'm fortunate that I can still do this, but I have aches and pains, and I can't push myself. I push myself, but I can't push myself like I used to. So I do what I can do. I only focus on what I can do, not what I can't do. I still love it, and if I can crack the top 10 in the Masters Olympia, because I know some good people are going to be coming in for it. So I'm pretty happy. I still want to do the New York Pro, and it's more to do the New York Pro to be have a better physique there. I don't care about winning. I'm not that ship has sailed, but I would love to do New York Pro to end a good career. Like top 10 would be great for me in the New York Pro, but more importantly, bringing a great presentation to the New York Pro, a great package to the New York Pro, and I can walk away. I don't want to be one of these guys compete. I'm not going to compete forever, but I have a new door that opened up, and I'm doing okay with it. And it doesn't seem like there's any reason to keep going. I've accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, you've had a great career.
It's great. I love it.
Nobody can deny that. A phenomenal career.
So I think this will probably be my last year. Yeah. And I'm happy with it. I'm actually in a happy, content place. I'm good. I feel good.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about that. Like, what still drives you? To get up every day and to get the 6 meals in and to do the cardio and to and to go through that pain threshold that you need to go to in order to get on stage and compete at that level.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of determination.
And I'm meeting a lot of young guys in the gym who are actually starting to come around to like, hey Vin, show me what you mean. Because it used to be, they're so caught up in whatever. I would tell them, listen, when I would train, I had maybe 3 or 4 guys in the gym that we bounced some ideas off of and a couple of magazines. That was it.
Yeah.
We weren't confused. We knew how to train. And one guy pushed the other guy if they saw somebody slacking. You guys are so fucking confused because you're reading so much material before you walk into the gym. You could read 17,000 different ways of doing some exercise. And now it's like so scientific about training.
The thing is, people try to reinvent the wheel. Like the wheel is just going to spin. That's it. There's no magic formula. That's it. Just go and do what you got to do and get out.
Yeah. So that's it. I think this is, and I started Masters Muscle to showcase the over 40 fitness enthusiast, bodybuilder, whatever you want to call it, and just these podcasts are turning into some great stories, and having you guys on tonight is awesome. And it's a pleasure to know that I've been sparked by you guys. Seriously, it would have been like an empty feeling doing this without having you guys over the 15, 20 years, even longer with you, Robbie. We know each other, I think, we're since 17.
You were 17 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to be 56 in a month, April. So.
Yeah. What you said.
He's right behind me.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Rob's turning 30 every year.
Exactly. Every year I get lower and lower. But no, seriously, I mean, thank you for bringing me on. It's a pleasure to talk to obviously my good friends that I've known forever.
Yeah,
Talk
absolutely.
about how things were back in the day for us, which nobody could live that now. You know, whether it's East Coast, West Coast, it's not the same now, and it'll never be again. I think, in my personal opinion,
Yeah.
Days are long gone, my
those
friend.
days are long gone, long gone.
Yeah. So I'm just the old guy in the gym now. The guys are like, what are you doing? What exercise are you doing? I walk up to a kid the other day. I'm like, do you know if you kneel down doing a one-arm cable row, or if you stand up, your back has no idea? He goes, no, you have to kneel down. I'm like, who says? What are you talking? Like, that's get up and do the exercise.
Yes.
It's stupid stuff like that. I'm like, what are you doing?
Or when someone's on the machine on their phone for 5 minutes before they do the set, that takes 20 seconds, and then they're on the phone again for 7-8 minutes.
Or setting up their tripod. It takes them longer to set up the damn tripod than their damn workout.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it's all changed. Harley had a rule: no cell phones on the floor when we trained. That was always the rule. We had.
Well, I think the only person that trained with a cell phone back then, who wasn't even from Jersey, was Chris Cormier. He had a cell phone wherever he went.
Yeah, but you know what though, Craig? So back then, first off, you had other people training retarded next to us.
Yes.
Right? They were crazy. They're training. There's nobody bullshitting talking. The music's pumping loud. You had rap music, heavy metal music, whatever, just pumping music. So you were in the moment. It wasn't like you got this depressing Drake music on.
Yeah.
So you walk into a gym now, it's like, okay, Drake is a great artist, but not for the gym.
Yeah.
When you're trying to have 315 on your back and squatting, I need a little something more energized. And it's not there. So you got to have your phone and have your headphones in your ear. But texting and all that bullshit, no. When people say to me, I got a couple more sets, I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump in with you if you don't mind.
So you took a page out of Harley's book. Harley was
but I'm nicer. I'm nicer.
I'll say, oh man, this guy's on that machine over there. He goes, oh, you want that machine? I go, yeah, but we'll wait. No, we won't wait. He'll go stand there. Hey, how many sets you have left? The guy will go, oh, I got 3. So Harley will just stand there and look at him and just keep staring at him. And then I'll go, oh, I'm done. You guys can have it. Like, he'll walk away.
Yeah.
So Vin, I want to take out this equation for a minute. So for Craig and Robbie, so we hear with all the older grizzled veterans now, has today's crop surpassed your crop in physique and everything else? Just overall appearance and whatnot? You think it's the same? It's gotten better? Or what are your opinions? Putting you on the spot.
Rob, I'll let you.
No. Hell no. No. You know what? Because I don't compete anymore, and I really don't have any. I can't get hurt for this. The people that win these shows now wouldn't even place top 10 back when we were competing at the national level. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's gotten so watered down.
So watered down.
When you competed at the nationals, then you had like the best of the best from like every like state would show up in every weight class, and they were like, it wasn't the guy that took 5th in a show showing up. Like again, here's the rule, right? If you did the jersey, which you had to be invited for back then, you did the jersey. If you were in the top 5, you really didn't think about going to a national show. If you took let's say you took top 2, you think, okay, maybe, hey, I can do the juniors. If you won the entire show, you possibly could have gone to the USA, but most likely you didn't. You still went to the juniors, and you saw how you did there first, and then you moved on. You didn't just jump right into, like, you get a guy that literally will win the Muscle Beach now, if that show's still going, and then go straight to the USA.
Yeah, and thinks he's getting his pro card.
Yes. And just hold on a second, and may actually get it because they're giving.
I was going to say may actually get a pro card.
He may actually get it. Yes. So yeah, no, it's a big difference. Like I can remember the year in 2000 when I won my weight class. I mean, the thing again, it was stacked. It was Robbie. It was Vinny. It was Fred Bigot.
Fred Bigot.
Fred Bigot.
Jackson, I don't even think broke the top 5.
I'm trying. There was so many
Yeah,
people. Everybody that was in the top. I think everybody in the top 10 basically got a pro card in time eventually.
Well, just to take that one step further, you said a little earlier about days, weeks of going on 0 carbs. We all did that. And today that's not done.
No.
They won't take their physique to that level. So Sean, when you're looking at guys from the 90s and 2000s, you'll see, if you look at the feathered quads and the deep detail up into their upper quads, how it would split, waistlines very small. It was because, one, we took our off seasons seriously. Yes, we ate in the off season. Yes, we ate burgers and pizza. We did our fun stuff, but we also knew not to go overboard, right?
Yeah.
Leading into a contest prep where you're suffering and you're getting paper thin skin, shredded serratus, look, Christmas trees. You don't see Christmas trees today. You don't see that. You don't see detail in the rear delts, like things that, like, I think that we all knew about. Like, okay, a full shoulder isn't developed unless the guy has rear delts along with it, right? So when you're doing a back little bicep, if you don't have a rear delt, it like washes away. Lower tie-ins. We paid attention to detail. I think we didn't think this, but subconsciously we thought we're going into the gym to create, right? That was the bottom line. We were creating something. And yes, all three of us had good genetics, but we didn't, we trained to the capacity of what we thought was hard, right? And could I have trained harder? Probably. I remember train with Robbie, and I'm doing back with him, and he's like yelling at me. I'm like,
I remember exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, you got to go heavier. Vinny never. How could I? Because Craig, I lifted heavy. I remember training with Vinny. I'd be like, no, you got to go heavy. You got to go heavier. And he won it. He won it for good reasons for himself. But I was like, you got to go heavier. You got to go heavier. And he just.
Well, it's funny because all of that echoes in my head now. When I train, I probably train heavier now than I ever have. Which is,
you know what?
It's
because Rob and I, our lower backs are killing us. My killing me. My elbows are killing me. So yeah, you may have did the right thing.
He did the right thing. I didn't say what I was doing was smart. Shoot, 3 surgeries later.
No, smart. We thought if you trained crazy like that, but you really could have just lightened up the weight.
Yeah.
Squeezed and kept tension, on the way up and on the way down and everything. Like there's a bunch of different ways now. But we didn't think that back then. You just saw someone else training crazy and you're like, all right, this guy's training crazy. I'm competing against him in a couple of weeks. I got to train well. So, but you live and learn.
No, but it developed a physique that you don't see today. Well, you do see, there are guys out there like Nick Walker trains crazy hard.
Oh yeah.
Right? He's in another level. And I love his work, and he's from Jersey, so he gets it. Yes. I think it's an East Coast, Northeast Coast, New York, New Jersey. What's that?
I said I was thinking that. You're absolutely right.
So yeah, I mean, if you're not, I hear guys say today, you shouldn't have to suffer for a contest. Oh my God.
See, that's the guy that got his pro card at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, that's
no, stop that. What do you mean you don't have to suffer? If you don't suffer, you're not gonna appreciate it. That's a fact. Tell me one champion that hasn't suffered. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely. I can remember every single contest, everyone saying, why am I doing this? Like, especially when it got down to your diet's crazy the entire time. But then you get to the last week and then your coach starts taking things out. And then all of a sudden you get down to the last 3 days and now you're cutting water and you're cutting, now no condiments. Like there's nothing. It just, that was a whole different level of suffering, man. That last 3 days would seem like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Facts.
So Craig, what's on your agenda today? What do you do today that you're retired? And
well, I'm still at the high school. An attendance officer obviously my kids are all grown now, and now I have grandchildren. So my grandchildren are like, my daughter lives in the same building that we live in, just down the hall. And so my grandchildren are here every day. So my grandson, I think my wife just sent him down the hall to his mom, but he was in there. We'd be wrestling right now and boxing around and, throwing things at each other, pillows and things like that. If I wasn't doing the podcast right now, but yeah,
Nice.
that's pretty much it. Like, I get off work, you go to the gym, you run a few errands, you come home and, I prep food for the next day. My wife cooks it and I weigh it out and put it in Tupperware for the next, day or two. And that's pretty much it for me, man. It's and that was the thing. My life was the same every single day, even when I was competing. I rarely ever deviate from my day.
So are you doing any personal training? Can anybody contact you? You're not doing any of that?
I always get someone contacting me, but honestly, once I walked away, I walked away. Like, that was it. Like, at some point I may go, okay, but I was just so burnt out that I just,
I hear you. I hear you.
I didn't, and I'll get like, someone will DM me, hey, Craig, now if someone has a question, I help a few guys out. They may have some questions. I'll help them out. And they'll say, hey, do you want to just become my coach now? Your coach is doing fine. I'm here. Need extra help, and that's pretty much the extent of it for me. Like, I'm.
Got you. Cool. And what about you, Robbie? Are you doing any training or coaching?
Yeah, I'm actually. I still do training. Coaching? No, I haven't coached anybody for a show in a long time, because of social media. Because it made it during the little mishap we had in 2020. Because I don't know if you're allowed to say the word on here. It made everybody an expert. So it kind of took my love for helping people for shows away. So mostly people that I train are just basically kids or older people, all different walks of life, just regular everyday people.
Right.
I still have a love of training people and helping people.
And how can they get in touch with you?
Instagram, Rob Lopez 34. That's my Instagram page. I like, as I was talking about before, and I'm a DJ as well. I still DJ. I'm still in the nightlife. Anybody that knows me know I was a wild child back in the day. You could always find me at a club here and there, working at a club. I still do some clubs, from here and there. I still have a love for DJing, and I do music for competitors, like yourself. I've done stuff for other competitors. So, I'm busy. Life's good. I cannot complain.
Well, I'm so happy you guys were able to get on tonight. We got to do this in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hey, real quick. Any predictions for the Arnold? Your top 5.
Oof. I'm gonna go with what I would like to see happen, which could very well happen. Sean Clarita winning. I'm gonna go with Andrew Jack second. Oh no, not Andrew Jack. I'm sorry, Samson. Samson second. Nick Walker third. Andrew Jack fourth. Fifth, I'll go with Rami.
Wow.
All right.
I have pretty much the same predictions, but I'm gonna go with Nick in for first. I'm gonna put Nick.
He looks great.
Yeah.
He looks crazy.
Yeah, like it just.
And Sean looks crazy.
Oh no, I can
now.
only imagine.
Crazy.
I just saw Akeem tonight. He looks nuts.
I forgot about Akeem.
Akeem, right. Yeah, let's not forget about Akeem because I just saw him in strong shape earlier today, and
I personally think this Arnold is going to be better than the Olympia.
No,
it got better. It was looking grim at the beginning.
Yeah.
But well, Craig, go ahead. Second through fifth.
So you got to throw Akeem in there. Like, you got to.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. You see, I think, I think they'll put Rami in the top 5.
Let me.
But I don't think I don't think. I'm going to say it. I'm not in the sport anymore. I love the guy. I just he's burnt out.
Yes, I agree.
And I just don't see him. I don't see him breaking the top 5. I don't see him beating Nick. I don't see him beating Sean. I don't see him beating Akeem.
Samson,
Yeah,
no way he's going to. Samson and Andrew Jack. Andrew Jack is going to look crazy, I think.
Yes.
I mean, crazy. He's working with the two Chris's. That's going to be insane.
So I'm going to go with third with Akeem, actually. No, wait. All right, back up. Let me back up. Hold on.
You're trying to be politically correct. Stop.
I'm not trying to be politically correct. No. Here it is.
Akeem's my boy.
I'm going with. And again, size-wise, you gotta find a place for Akeem because he's so damn big, and he's finally getting his condition down. And I told him years ago, because obviously we're older, and I go, hey, because at one point he was down a little bit as far as his placings. Obviously, the guy's that big, and, he's not placing as well as he thinks he should place.
Well, it's a condition thing.
Yeah, I go, trust me, you're gonna get your condition down pat. When that happens, you'll be part of the new generation. Everyone else is getting up in age. They're retiring. The Roly Winklers and, everyone else. That we're all getting old. You're going to be around, and you will be in that mix.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure enough, it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
He took like 7th or 8th 2 years ago at the Olympia. He wasn't bad off.
I think with him, it's just a conditioning thing. If he gets a condition, that dude's he's a force to be reckoned with.
He's a force.
He really is.
And you know what about the Olympia? Well, what I noticed, it's all in who they compare you to.
Yeah.
If they get the right call outs and they stand them next to, because we know like it's a name game sometimes. Unfortunately, they call out who they believe should be in that top mix. They'll just compare those guys with each other, and then you get the second and third call out. But if they brought him in the first call out,
I could see him in the first call out.
I think would really match up really well with a lot. Again, I think he beats Rami if you match him up with Rami.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Craig, I'm putting a gun to your head. You got Nick in first, and where are you going after that?
All right, I'm sorry. Okay, all right, okay.
I got to go eat a meal. Let's go.
Oh boy, here we go.
Vinny's shrinking here in front of this podcast.
I'm going Nick, Akeem. I'm going to go Samson, believe it or not.
And third?
Go Sean, and then I'll go Rami. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen. You'll see.
Good. All right.
We'll wrap up right now, but picture this picture though. You see Andrew Jacked at 6 foot, Sean Clarita in the middle, and then Samson, who's also 6 foot, giving like almost 100-pound deficit.
But that's
both
a nice
300.
That's a nice call out, first call out though. Think about it. That's pretty quality. That's quality right there.
Yes.
That is.
We shall see next week.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, but guys, it's a total pleasure.
So much for coming on.
My
Sean,
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to do this again in the future.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, Lee Priest.
Awesome.